Welcome back. Now, Zambians are heading to the polls on Thursday. They will be voting for a president, members of parliament, mayors and councillors. Zambia's President Edgar Lungu is running for a third term, despite concerns that this is unconstitutional since he's been elected twice. To speak about this and other key issues in Zambia, we're joined now via Zoom by the Executive Director of Governance, Elections and Advocacy Research Services Initiative in Zambia, MacDonald Chipenzi. Thank you, Mr. Chipenzi, for your time. Now, President Edgar Lungu is running for a third term, but this is unconstitutional. Is it even legal for his party to allow him to run for a third time?
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Chipenzi.
Yes. Indeed, we are going into election in the next 2 days. And the president is indeed running for the third term against the spirit and the letter of the Constitution. Of course, the courts decided to protect him and allowed him to stand. Even when a lot of people, experts, did argue that this rule was, or his attempt to go for a third term was unconstitutional. But the courts, the judges, which have been siding with him for some time now, allowed him to go for a third term. And we left the whole issue to the people of Zambia for them to decide during this election. So it is up to the people of Zambia to decide whether they will vote him in or they will not vote him in. Whether the third term was real or it was not real. It will be seen on the 12th August 2021. The other issue is indeed the election itself has had its own stakes. People
All right, Mr. Chipenzi, I'm hoping you can still hear me because you're a bit frozen at the moment. Technology is giving us a few problems.
Kinds of silent discontent among the Zambian people.
All right. Mr. Chipenzi, 16 candidates in total are gunning for this presidency. On Thursday, one of them is running for a sixth time. And I think that is Hakainde Hichilema. Does he not have any chance at all? Will the people of Zambia at least side with someone else, since you're saying that the court is siding with the current president?
Well, yes, he has run for the fifth time now, I think, and for presidency, and he is the major contender in these elections. Actually, he has been a major contender from 2015 to date. He is one of the biggest opposition political party in our country, and so he is the alternative in this election. If they don't vote for the president now, definitely people will go for him, or indeed there will be a 50-50 kind of arrangement, and maybe no one will get a 50% plus one because of the 16 candidates you are talking about. Some of them, they have a grip in certain regions where the two candidates, that is President Lungu and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, have got they have got the support base, so that may eat in the 50% of one candidate from getting it, and perhaps giving an advantage to the other candidate. So indeed, the battle here is between the two candidates. That is Mr. Edgar Lungu, the president of the Patriotic Front, and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the president of the United Party for National Development. These are the two that actually are battling, and they are the two that are competitively contesting this election.
Mr. Chipenzi, I have to speak to you a little bit about the GDP growth for Zambia this year being at 0.6%. It's been labeled as the worst in the continent. We've seen reports, for instance, of people unable to buy basic food, even people who work, people such as nurses, even security guards. If you could just give us a picture of how life is economically for the people of Zambia.
Well, it is a hard time for the people of Zambia. The cost of living is very high. The only thing that has remained stable in Zambia is the fuel, which has not increased for some time now. But electricity has gone up from this early this year. And last year, then we have the staple food, which is mealie meal, continue to rise. The issue of cooking oil and so on and so forth. So the life to the ordinary people has been extremely very hard. They are eating in order to live and not to live in order to eat. That is what has now come into Zambia. So even the salaries that workers are getting, it just get eroded with the inflationary forces. So at the end of the day, there is completely zero that these people are getting, and this is why I think during the campaign, the president had even to call for a debt swap. Because most of the civil servants, especially teachers, were going home with negatives because they borrowed a lot in order to survive. So really the economy is biting. At the market now with the COVID-19, a number of traders they rarely sell because there's no money in the economy. So people just come with their tomatoes. It's not bought. It goes to rot, cabbages and these other things. And even bread, which was not long ago was costing less than a dollar. This time it is $1 plus for you to buy bread. And it even forced the president's party, one of the chairperson in his party, to say, forget about bread if you cannot afford, but resort to eating sweet potato, which we call kandoro in the local language here.
All right.
So people were urged to stop.
All right. Mr. Chipenzi, thank you very much for your time. That was, of course, MacDonald Chipenzi from the Gears Initiative. He was live to us from Lusaka in Zambia. Now let's take you to a short